Hear ye, what's poppin'? Alright, hey, how's it going? It's me. It's Hood Quest, in case you didn't know who whatever. Uh okay, so look, we're finally doing it, right? Here it is, we're finally doing it. The horrors of Spongebob Squarepants. But you see, there's a reason it's been a while since I uploaded, which not necessarily a while, it's been like what, maybe 3 or 4 days. I don't know. But essentially, there's a reason I have not came out with anything lately, because I've been working on this, the horrors of SpongeBob SquarePants, and the reason for that being because, well, you see, there's a lot of heinous shit that happens in SpongeBob, a lot. Like, I didn't even get all the examples I wanted to in this video, but still, in this video, I got a good few examples, all right, a good few examples, a good hefty collaboration of examples, right? So that's what we're about to do now. So sit back, relax, enjoy some snacks, or don't, because this might be gross. The horrors of SpongeBob SquarePants, alright? And we're just gonna jump right into it. These, of course, as always, are in no particular order, from most gross to least gross, or least to most, or any type of disturbing order. They're just random, in a random order as I put them in the list. There's no ranking of these at all. You can rank them amongst yourselves. Maybe some of these are more or less disturbing to you. Maybe there's some that I won't include in here that from SpongeBob that you find very disturbing. Just let me know in the comments. Let me know of any other shows you want me to do a horrors of, or just review, talk about, or whatever. Alright, so let's just jump right into it. Alright, first up on this list, we have, I don't even remember what this episode was called, but it was that freaky episode where SpongeBob and Squidward got fused together because of Sandy's Breaking Bad ass fuckery. Alright, and basically what happens is, at the end of the episode, right, at the end, Squidward, SpongeBob, Larry, or Mr. Krabs, Mrs. Puff, Patrick, Pearl, all of them end up getting fused into this disgusting, the Thing ass mass. And I remember seeing it as a kid, and I hated it. It's just one of those things that it was one of those things where they all got fused together, and it was gross, right? It was gross. And that was just that, right? That episode kind of resonated with me in the sense that, yeah, this is one of the older episodes of SpongeBob had the very disturbing stuff, right? This is just one amongst many, right? One amongst many. Very detailed, disgusting stuff. Alright, the next one is a weird one. It's a weird one. It's not necessarily disturbing or creepy. It was just something I want to point out because I don't remember this, but it was just, I found it very funny, and I could see how to some kid it would freak out. And I don't even know the context of what happened in this episode, but there's a Flying Dutchman, and then there's this big sea monster with the rock ass pecs, wearing a bra, lipstick, very realistically drawn, kinda. It's creepy. More so just an ill moment, just a very ill moment. Not necessarily disturbing on any means, but it was just there. It was just there, and it was something I want to point out, right? Alright, the next one on the list is Squidward being sentenced to hell, or Brazil, whichever one you want to consider. Man's literally, Flying Dutchman sends this man into the great beyonds. He starts falling. There's a bunch of horrific images within this. Squidward's just banished to hell, just absolutely banished. It was very, as a kid, it was kind of funny, also kind of scary. But Squidward always gets fucked over every time. Squidward always gets cucked. It's just never a time where Squidward does not get cucked. And this is just one of those moments where Squidward got sentenced to actual hell. Actual hell in this one. Another older episode, one of the old episodes, one of the old OG good episodes, where Squidward got condemned to hell. Yeah, and there's that one. Alright, this next one is weird, but this one is probably the one that has stuck with me the more than any of the other ones, just because it was quick yet effective. There was no context to it. It was just a drawing that I guess was someone in the art department did and wanted to add into this episode, right? So in a sense, I think is this episode where they're doing like 24 hours, and got SpongeBob. No. I can't remember which one this was. But basically, I don't remember what episode it was. I think I'm getting it wrong. But in this episode, I remember Mr. Krabs is going about more. And I don't remember if it was the one where they were doing 24 hours or if it's the one where he's buying a bunch of shit from Mrs. Puff. But either way, in between all of the mores, there's just this one specific realistic image of Mr. Krabs. It's very weird and gross. His claws have nails. The drawing is ill. Like why did they throw that in? They just threw that in there randomly. Like they just threw this in there randomly. For what purpose? It was just there. And I hated it. It was very weird. I hated every aching moment of it. I did not need it in my life. I did not want to see it. But boom, there it was, and here it is. There. Give it up for real gross Mr. Krabs, I should say. Alright. Next we have the famous gorilla. The gorilla in the Patrick suit. This one. You just got a real guy in a gorilla suit. Just absolutely mollywopping Sandy and Patrick. That's literally what happened. Gorilla was just put him in a bag, freaking hit the yeet, put him in the bag, and just started mollywopping him. Hit him with that mollywop, that combo drop, that rumble verse pop and lock. They were doomed from the start. They were getting beat down. You'd think Sandy would have a bit of more combat skill, considering she's a karate master, but she just couldn't throw hands with the gorilla. She couldn't throw hands with him. Her and Patrick just got the works, just got absolutely worked on, and it was wild, and that was it. That one wasn't really necessarily. I thought that was funny, but apparently a lot of people thought that was as scary or creepy as a kid. I never thought that. But I never got that impression from that. But it is what it is. Everyone has their different tastes and opinions, or different forte. Next up on the list, we have probably one of the most famous episodes known to man. Not necessarily disturbing in a sense, kind of weird. There was some. This was not even creepy. More so, just this is an episode where SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs just believe they've committed actual murder, and that's the health inspector episode. The episode where they believed they've killed the health inspector, and then after they've accidentally, quote unquote, killed this man, they decide they can't go to the police, so they try to dispose of his corpse. This episode, yeah, they committed actual murder in their heads. They didn't actually murder the guy. The guy didn't die, but in their minds, they knew no better. They assumed they killed him, right? So they literally had committed an actual felony and tried to cover it up. This is like actual cold case. Like imagine an episode of SpongeBob, or it's just a Dateline episode where you got the Krusty Krab, and then it just everything was all good until it wasn't. Dun dun. That shit. I just want to point that episode out because I love the episode. That was a very funny episode, a very dark episode, but funny nonetheless. Next, we have the Flying Dutchman haunting SpongeBob's house episode, where there's this particular scene where they're haunting Squidward near the end. They're haunting Squidward, and the Squidward's afraid because he did believe in ghosts at first, but now he's seeing it. He's all freaked out, and SpongeBob appears, a giant SpongeBob, and then he starts. His tongue comes out, his eyes come out, and then spiders come out. It's something that for the younger audience probably wouldn't be the greatest thing to see. Probably wouldn't be for the greatest thing to see their favorite beloved cartoon character just get his eyes and tongue just slithering out of his body, and then spiders just coming out of the holes, the orifices. It's not something for the younger audience. It's weird, but it's not the worst thing compared to that's more tame compared to some of the stuff you see on SpongeBob. All right, that's more tame, honestly. Let's move on. The next one we have you finished those errands? That's the only way I can describe it because I don't know the name of the episode. But in this episode, Squidward literally loses his mind. Mr. Krabs leaves for the day, and he leaves Squidward in charge. And Squidward takes advantage of this and just goes home and leaves SpongeBob in charge. But he's worried that SpongeBob is going to somehow fuck the entire place up, burn the place down, whatever, what have you. Just give out all the money, what have you. But and as a result, Squidward begins going crazy from paranoia, thinking that SpongeBob is slacking off He's trying to catch SpongeBob slacking off when he himself is slacking off because Mr. Krabs is slacking off. At first they forgot to turn. At the end they forgot to turn the close sign open, so no one was coming anyway. So SpongeBob just would have been sitting in there alone all day. But this episode was funny yet disturbing because it's like watching like actual mental breakdown. Squidward's having an actual mental breakdown in this episode. Like look at his face in just this image here. Look at his face. This man's lost his mind. He's lost it. Like SpongeBob is like an SCP that just can appear. He's trying to protect himself from this creature that is SpongeBob appearing in his house. He appears in his bathtub later, or so he believes. Then goes down the drain hole and such. And Squidward runs through the city naked to catch SpongeBob. It's wildness, absolute wildness. But another classic, hilarious yet a bit strangely creepy episode, right? This next episode is gross. This next one on this list, gross. I remember this episode vividly. It's gross, and it's something that resonates with me because God. And it's the Splinter episode, the episode where SpongeBob gets a splinter, and then it just gets worse and worse. It gets infected. It gets he starts oozing. It gets red, and then Patrick makes it worse, infects it with garbage and bullcrap, and it gets more swollen. It just turns to complete catastrophe. And it resonates with me because I hate splinters. Who likes splinters? No one. Not that I know of. And just seeing SpongeBob's finger, this fucking big splinter in it, and it's just pus and red, and then it's so much. Ew. It was just so grimace. So grimace. There's even a word. Either way, you get that idea. It was such a grimace thing. Ew. Dear Lord, Jesus Christ, just have mercy on my soul. Yeah, the Splinter episode. That's one. People have to know about that one. Even that one gets to me. I hate that Splinter episode, right? I hate it. Alright. Next up, we have the episode where SpongeBob falls in love with a Krabby Patty. In this episode, nothing particularly disturbing happens except for the disgusting close-ups of the burger. Like, look at this. Why is that so detailed, and why does that look so grim? Ew. It has maggots in it and whatnot. It's just a fucking tainted bioweapon. SpongeBob falls in love with a burger that turns into a bioweapon because look at that. That's sick. It's sick. I hated this episode because I hated looking at that burger. I hated looking at it. And then like the part where Squidward grabs it and squeezes it and there's maggots coming out of it. Why did they have to draw that like that? Why did they have to spend so much time to make that look so disgusting? Imagine all the kids that were eating when they watched the episode, and then it just all hurled. I wonder how many there were of them. That would have been good to know. All right. Moving on, we have another just a mere scene from episode where in this episode SpongeBob essentially ends up in another city where they're afraid of bubbles, right? And no one wants to be around SpongeBob. Also apologize if y'all hear any background noise. There are currently buses driving past my house. But anyway, there's SpongeBob's in this new city. He's blowing bubbles. This city doesn't like bubbles, and then SpongeBob thinks something's wrong with him. So he walks up to this guy and asks, "Is there something wrong with me?" And then we just get this close-up image of SpongeBob, and it's this show is very notorious for its close-ups, realistic portrait images, this style of very detailed art, I should call it. I don't even know, but yeah, this is another I hated it moment. It's gross. It's just disturbing. It's something you probably see. Like, imagine your sleep paralysis demon being this version of SpongeBob. I might just have to take myself out because I can't deal with that. I can't. No, ew. Like that is horrific, right? That's just how it goes, right? So the next one on the list is something that doesn't scare me now, but scared me as a kid because I was scared of bugs, and that is the Wormy episode, where SpongeBob and Patrick are in charge of watching over Sandy's caterpillar, and the caterpillar turns into a butterfly, and then they get these close-up images of the butterfly, and it's just a horrific bug. I don't know if it's a fly or a wasp or whatever, but I hated it because I hated bugs back then. I hated bugs. It doesn't scare me now because it's a fucking it's a butterfly. Like what is it gonna do to you? It's a butterfly. But yeah, as a kid I would have hated that as a kid, but not anymore. Not anymore. Not anymore. All right, these last two are probably some of the bigger ones. The first one, not necessarily for the scene itself, but for the history behind it, right? And the first one is the episode, one of the more recent episodes, I believe, or maybe not too recent anymore, but there's an episode where, this is one of the new episodes, so I haven't actually watched this, but I've heard it was all over Twitter. And basically, the SpongeBob, they finally acknowledged Red Mist, or Squidward suicide, whatever you want to call it. But they finally acknowledged it in an episode. And you know, if you don't know the history behind Squidward suicide or the Red Mist, that's one of the old, like, classic creepypastas. Which, by the way, maybe I'll do a video on the old creepypastas era, on like those classics. Maybe I'll do a video on that. Maybe we'll see. But yeah, the history of Squidward suicide. If you don't know about that, you know, watch one of these creepypasta YouTubers tell the story. You know, I'm pretty sure nearly all of them have. Like Squidward suicide or Red Mist is one of the classics. Or you can watch like the fan-made version of Red Mist. You know, if you're a kid, it'll scare you. But because I remember Squidward suicide as a kid, the image of Squidward and those pulsing eyes scared me, but it doesn't scare me anymore because they turned into a fucking meme. Yeah, but back then, you know, it was creepy. But yes. I don't even know if I'm I'm not even gonna go into explaining what Squidward suicide is. That creepypasta. It's a long story. It's not really that long, but it's something I don't even want to go into at the moment. So I'll leave that for a whole other video to itself. But you know, watch one of these creepypasta YouTubers do a story on it or something. You know, you get all the context you need. But yeah, it was cool they acknowledged it though. It was really cool that they acknowledged it. You know, because like as far as like SpongeBob fan stuff goes, that's probably the most famous one ever. As far as like SpongeBob stuff goes, is like Squidward suicide or Red Mist. Like the most avid SpongeBob enjoyers know what it is. All right, and finally, last on this list, we have Squidward's Toenail Torture. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Squidward's Toenail Torture. One of the best scenes to ever come out of SpongeBob. One of the scenes that you just have to think, wow, what were they thinking when they made this? All right. In this episode, Squidward is trying to renovate his house because of a TV show is coming to his house, and he wants to show the TV people he has a fancy house, and Squilliam he wants to prove it all to them that he has a fancy house, right? And he of course enlists the help of SpongeBob to help him re-innovate some home improvement type shit. And in the particular scene where they're moving Squidward's couch, SpongeBob brings the couch down on Squidward's foot. By the way, Squidward has a toenail for some reason. He has a toenail. It's on Squidward's foot, and then he begins he begins moving it, and it's pulling Squidward's toenail out, and then eventually it just rips his entire toenail off. Like that's literally what happens in the literal scene. It's actual torture. It's so painful to look at, but looking back at it now, it was such a funny ass scene. Squidward literally gets his toenail ripped off from his own couch because SpongeBob is just fucking up. And the image I have up on screen will just say it all. Like, it was a gnarly scene. Went on for about 20 seconds of just this painful endeavor. And truth be told, Squidward did scream enough for my liking. You know, if that was me, I would have been breaking windows from the volume of my screams. Like, Squidward didn't do enough in my opinion. That's probably one of my favorite disturbing scenes of all time. That scene. I'm just laughing just thinking about it. Oh jeez. But yes, that's gonna do it for this list. And as I said, this is just some of the stuff you can find in SpongeBob. Some of the disturbing stuff in SpongeBob. This isn't even all of it. This is not even all of it. It's just some of it. But it's still, Jesus. What a catastrophe. But yep, this has been the Horrors of SpongeBob. Let me know any more examples you want me to do. Maybe if we can find enough for a part 2 of the Horrors of SpongeBob, I'll definitely do one. Maybe we'll look at some creepypastas as well. You know, creepypastas, those early OGs. You know, look at some of those. But as far as this video goes, that's going to be a GG's for this. That's going to call it a wraps. Thank you all so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, hit the like button. If you want to see more stuff coming to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We got a lot of good stuff coming. We got more cartoons to talk about. We got some movie reviews coming soon. We got face cam coming soon. We got a lot of stuff coming. We're going to be doing more than just reviews. Sometimes we're going to do some gaming videos. Maybe here and there you're going to see me like want to get the face cam. We'll review stuff. Face cam, review stuff on face cam. I like reviewing stuff. Maybe we'll review some food on cam. Do a fucking mukbang or something. Make fun of mukbangs or whatever. I don't know. We can do a lot of stuff. You know, this channel, we're not just focused on one specific thing. We do whatever. You know, we do whatever we feel like over here. So right. But regardless, that's gonna do it. Thank you all so much for watching. Peace out. Take care of yourselves, and I'ma fuck with you.